You're listening to a Weeby Geeks Network podcast.
The Dining at Disney podcast. The Dining at Disney podcast. Your ultimate source about the wonderful world of dining at the Disneyland and Walt Disney World resorts.
If you are what you eat, then I only want to eat the good stuff.
Kristen Hoetzel-Go and Jay Brattain are your guides on this culinary adventure.
We'll prepare and serve with flair a culinary cabaret.
Join them as they discuss the latest food news, expert tips, recommendations, and trip planning advice related to Disney food and dining. From quick service to fine dining, you will discover all the best restaurants and food as they hungrily explore the Disney parks.
It brings folks together from all walks of life.
The Dining at Disney podcast. And now, your host, Kristen Hoetzel-Go and Jay Brattain.
Welcome to another episode of Dining at Disney. I'm Kristen. With me is Jay. And we are your ultimate source for all things Disney World and Disneyland food and dining. So we've got a lot of news that has come out. Some of it pertains to some of the things you may have heard at Disney's D23 Expo that took place about a week and a half ago. So some of it has to do with those announcements that you may have heard taking place at the parks and resorts. And one thing we're going to talk about today, which has actually been a question that we received from a reader, and he wanted to know the best places to load up on carbs prior to running a Run Disney race. So we're going to be talking about that as well. And as always, end with our dessert, which is our food tips for the week. So let's go ahead and get started into this. And Jay, what do you have as far as Disneyland news?
Well, actually not too much since we were, attending the D23 convention, and I think a lot of the Disneyland people were preoccupied with that as well. So not much on the dining news front. However, one thing I did do a few days before the D23 Expo was go to the Tahitian Terrace Luau. And the Diamond Luau, got to use that diamond in there because it was that special event. Anyhow, I had a good time. It was fun. You can read my entire dining review on the Dining at Disney website. There's two articles I wrote. One for the Dining at Disney website, which I just covered the food exclusively. And then the other one was about my entire experience, which you can find on the disgeek.com website. And then, anyhow, just kind of in a nutshell, the food was good. I actually liked the food at the Halloween last year a little bit better. This one, they were supposed to pay homage to the old Tahitian Terrace restaurant that was located by the Tiki Room. Back in the, up until, 1980s, but until 1993. But the thing is that they, I think they played a little fast and loose with that term, paying homage to it because, the options weren't all that great. The quality was still pretty good. I really enjoyed the barbecue pork sliders, and the meatballs were pretty decent as well. And I normally I don't like sweets, but I did like the little mini cupcakes that they had. It was like a pineapple, what was it, toffee pineapple, I believe it was, and with coconut, and that was pretty good. In fact, I snuck a couple home to my wife. So I just kind of stuck them in my my little goodie bag and just kind of just whistled away. But I did get, for the people who are watching this on video, I did get the Tahitian Terrace mugs. Oh, here's the recipe card, which is cool. It gives you the original Tahitian Terrace punch, which is interesting. I didn't remember as a kid that, that grape juice flavor, but as soon as I tasted it, before I even saw the recipe card, I was like, there's grape juice in this, And then, yeah, so that's pretty cool, and what's interesting about this recipe card is that there's actually two versions. They have the original, when you're making like an entire, few, like multiple gallons or whatever for a big party or something like that. And then they have one that you can make for individual servings. So that's kind of nice. And yeah, so there's grape juice, pineapple juice, grenadine, lemon juice, sugar, and also another interesting thing, they put Tang in there, and I thought that was kind of unique. I didn't realize that they used that Tang drink mix.
Do
Remember
they
that
still
as a
make
kid?
Tang?
Oh yeah, they do, definitely. Yeah, I remember that as a kid. They had that whole big deal because it was the astronauts used it and stuff. So. And they did provide the little mugs here, which are awesome. I love these mugs. And the other great thing is that I got them signed by the artist, and his name is Marcus Gonzalez. And he's a really cool guy. I actually saw him at the Halloween event when they had that last October. And I remember him distinctly because we were talking about the Tahitian Terrace restaurant, and I said, dude, you guys got to bring that back. And he's like, oh, well, we're working on some events over the summer and stuff. I think you'll be pleased. I remember him telling me that. And then I saw him this time around. I said, you remember me, dude? He's like, oh yeah, I remember. We talked about the Tahitian Terrace restaurant because he used to work there. And anyways, he's a really cool guy. So yeah, that was fun. And anyhow, you can read the entire recap again on the diningatdisney.com website. Then the other thing that's going on, which you actually wrote a little article about, and then I followed up with a dining review, is the fact that Big Thunder Ranch Barbecue will be closing. Not right away, but it will be closing. So yeah, don't panic, people. It's all good. Now some
You
people
only have to panic if you don't live there and you don't get to go back.
That's true. That's very true.
I was glad that I ended up eating there because I almost was like, yeah, I've been there before, let's not. But I was like, it's really good. And Aljon hadn't been, so we went ahead and dined there. And then, of course, a couple days later, it's announced, oh, we're closing it. I was like, okay, well, at least I got to eat there one last time.
Yeah, it's sort of one of those, good news and bad news situations. I mean, the good news is that they're bringing in Star Wars Land. The bad news is that they had to sacrifice some space, and unfortunately, Big Thunder Ranch area is going on the chopping block. There'd been many people who speculated that Toontown would be removed, and to be honest, I'd rather Toontown be removed than Big Thunder Ranch because of course I don't have kids, so I mean it's easy for me to say that, right? But it just seems to me like Toontown is never super busy, and like the restaurants over there they're geared towards little kids, so you got the hot dogs and the hamburgers and the cheese pizza slices and stuff like that. So I rarely ever go to Toontown personally, and my wife as well, obviously, but I'm not sure if that was the wisest decision to take out Big Thunder Ranch, in my opinion. But I'm sure that they weighed the pros and cons and said, we got to remove something, and that was probably their best deduction, I guess, is given the family orientation of Toontown versus Big Thunder Ranch, because Big Thunder Ranch is nice and it's quaint and it's great for me, for adults and everything, and they do have the little petting zoo and stuff, but really it's not heavily populated. A lot of people kind of go there as sort of the roundabout way to get to Fantasyland, so whatever. I mean, it is what it is, and you just have to enjoy Big Thunder Ranch Barbecue restaurant for as long as you can. And also, just to kind of backing up to what at the beginning of my statement, actually, there's been some speculation on when they're actually closing the restaurant. I'm hearing multiple dates, so it's all in the rumor mill, because I'd read that they're not going to break ground for Star Wars Land until 2017. So, but people are saying, well, no, they're going to close Big Thunder Ranch Barbecue restaurant in January 2016. But that doesn't really make a lot of sense to me, because, I mean, why would you, because that's a moneymaker for them. So why would you close it down early, if you're not going to actually break ground for another year? You know what I mean?
Maybe they are going to break ground earlier. Or maybe there's something that has to be done with that area prior to that. But yeah, everywhere I've heard it was January 11th is when it was closing.
Okay. Well, we'll see. I guess I have to go there during the holiday time just for one last rodeo, so to speak.
I was hoping they were going to announce you guys were getting Marvel, because we can't have that out here. And instead, it's like, yay, Shanghai. Yeah, I'm going to go there all the time.
Right.
It'd be nice if we could have some Marvel stuff here.
Right.
Where people are buying it. That I felt like that was a big miss that they could have done out there. Skip Star Wars and put Marvel in there. And that would then also bring people from the East Coast to go to Disney World out there for that as well.
Yeah, exactly.
That's one of the things. People are like, well, Disneyland is this pretty much the same as what we have. There's nothing different. And the only, difference out there is if we go over to DCA and we can do Cars Land in Paradise Pier. So I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think that it has mostly to do with budget issues, because if you're going to build basically mirror images on both coasts, then you can build 2 of everything, so you're saving money. Whereas if you're doing a one-off project, with like a Marvel Land or whatever, then that will be, you're going to be putting a lot of resources on the line, in terms of, the materials and also the labor, because, there's only so many Imagineers, and, I'm sure that they want to keep their labor costs low. So, I mean, if they have one Imagineer designing, for, the Millennium Falcon, for example, then he just designs it for both parks. He doesn't have to worry about doing a second set of prints for, let's say Tony Stark's tower or something, whatever. I mean, I'm just kind of throwing
Well, I mean, you could use Innoventions as, the Avengers Tower, because what's in Innoventions now? Not a whole lot. I mean, that's kind of like, here, you can check out Iron Man suits and get your picture with Thor. So, or at least that's what was going on until I was there, and then I saw they're doing that outside now.
Yeah, exactly. So.
I don't know. I think it's cheap, considering they're going to go through all of that stuff and do Marvel out in Shanghai. Why not do Marvel here as well?
Right.
Why not make there a little bit more difference between the parks? I mean, Walt did not want anything in Walt Disney World that was in Disneyland. I mean, we have stuff, but Walt was gone. And so somebody could say, yeah, let's put pirates here.
Right.
So.
Well, we'll see. I mean, it'll be interesting how this develops. And I'm kind of looking forward to the Star Wars Land, the restaurants that they're going to incorporate, because I guess one of the projects that they brought up was the Cantina, right? So I'm just wondering, like, what is that? Because there's no alcohol at Disneyland Park. So are they either going to make an exception for that, restaurant or that place, establishment or whatever, like they do with the Beauty and the Beast? What do you call it? The one in Disney World. Where they serve the wine.
Be Our Guest.
Be Our Guest restaurant. Yeah.
Is if they did do that, they would have to find a way to make it high end, because that is the one thing, is you can't get Budweiser, Miller, Coors, anything like that. It is French beers and Belgian beers. There's only like 3 options, and higher end wine. So it's set in a way that it's intended to complement the food and make it to where people aren't thinking, oh, let's go in there, drink, and that be our big plan. It's wine and beer to pair with the food more so than anywhere else.
That's true. But we've discussed this before, on the Diz Geek podcast, like several years ago, about at the time that they did Be Our Guest restaurant, and like, should they do something similar at Disneyland? And I'm all for it, to be honest. I mean, at first I was like, Walt didn't want alcohol in the park, but what's the difference? I mean, it's already at DCA, it's already at Disney World, at all the parks except Magic Kingdom, and even Magic Kingdom now has an exception. And I mean, then also Club 33 you can get alcohol, so it's like, I mean, there's already alcohol there. Just make it available. And they do Disneyland in Paris, right? I mean, they have beer there as well.
Oh yeah. So I don't think it would go over well in France if you did not have alcohol in the park. I mean,
right.
This is a culture that the kids drink. You start your kids off with a little bit of alcohol and build up from there so that they learn to be responsible and have an appreciation for alcohol. It's not, hey, I'm 21, let's go out and get drunk. It's a very different kind of culture for that. I mean, when I was in Italy, the people, when their kids are like 5, they put like a third of it is wine and the rest of it's water. And that way the kids learn, like, you drink with your meal and all of that stuff. Or just a little bit different than that.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it. I did, again, going back to the Big Thunder Ranch barbecue restaurant, I did write up a dining review. I went there during the 4th of July, around the 4th of July. So the pictures look a little bit dated, but, it's still contemporary. It was only a month and a half ago. So you can check it out and enjoy.
And let's see, that's your last news story, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. So I'm going to go back to where we were discussing Star Wars because, at D23, I did go to the parks panel, and one of the things that they showed was a galactic grill. And they had a concept for that, which looks like it'd be perfect, like where you guys have Tomorrowland Terrace. It's got that kind of font for the galactic grill, and then of course the sign. So you could tell it's from this drawing. It's going to be a quick service place. And then let's see what else I have. I wrote down all these crazy notes. Look at this. I'm trying to take pictures with one hand and write with the other, so it's not, really clear.
So is that like a box top or something, or what?
No, like it's it's Groot.
Oh, it's the Groot hat. You wrote inside Groot's hat. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I had it in my bag, and I was like, I don't have paper. I didn't have paper. And what was funny is I had gone into the press room earlier and grabbed a notepad, and this was the day before, and didn't have a pen. And I was like, had a pen the next day, but didn't have the paper. I was like, clearly I am not like with it at the moment, Oh, I know. The other thing I was going to talk about, I found the words on there. It's talking about Avatar as well, that being another new thing that's coming in. And they were saying that the focus with the food is going to has a lot to do with avatars, is special food and new tastes and flavors, and things that are supposed to be native to like their land. So I'm not quite sure what that entails. And when I was talking to the Imagineers, I didn't get an answer other than it's going to be new tastes. I'm like, that doesn't, I'm like, that's what they say, in the video and all of that stuff, and talked about in the panel. So I'm like, I don't know what they're thinking they're going to do with that. But I think it'll be interesting to see what kind of foods they come up with for Pandora as well as Star Wars when those are complete.
Yeah, I watched it. It's been a long time since I saw the Avatar movie, and I don't remember them eating anything in particular that sort of like, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like, oh, that's an exotic looking fruit or something, or whatever. It's like, but from what I remember, I don't think that they eat meat. So maybe they're going vegetarian. I don't know. I mean, I'd be kind of, I don't know. That'd be interesting. I mean, vegetarians are very innovative in the way vegetarians and vegans are very innovative in the way that they do meal preparation. And like one of the things I don't know if you've ever tried this, but I like tempeh bacon. It's they take the tempeh, it's like it's almost like a tofu or whatever, and then they slice it thin, and then they marinate it in like these like a soy sauce mixture, soy sauce and brown sugar and all that stuff, and then you slice it thin, and then you cook it or bake it, either pan fry it or bake it. And then when you eat it, it's like crispy like bacon. It's like, oh, that's good. I like it.
See, I cannot get. I just don't like things that are supposed to taste like something they're not.
Okay.
So it's like, to me, it's weird, like cashew cheese and using tofu to make it taste like, with flavors to make it taste like beef. I'm like, that's just so strange to me. I'm like, no, I don't want anything to do with that.
Well, I guess
I want bacon to taste like bacon, and I want whatever it is to taste like it. Because if you like the taste of it, really, why are you not eating it? unless it's for dietary reasons, right, that you have a medical condition and you're allergic to this, and so you need to make it taste like something else. But to just go, I'm not going to eat meat, but then you like the taste of meat, is so strange to me. I can't get that.
But that's the thing. I guess maybe out in California we have a lot more vegetarian restaurants and vegan restaurants, and they're kind of pushing the boundaries of these dishes. And I know in Pasadena, near where I live, they have this place called Real Food Daily. And you look at their menu, it's just like, wow. I mean, this, the person who started, it's actually kind of, I think that's a chain of like 4 restaurants, and it, like they're award winning, and they do all these innovative things with like nachos and burgers, with beans, black beans and stuff like that. It's really interesting, and some of it's not so great, but some of it's good. I mean, it really is, and I actually eat there by choice. I don't like go there because I have some kind of dietary need or restriction or whatever, because I'll eat pretty much anything. I mean, I'm omnivore all the way, with carnivorous tendencies. So, but yeah, I'm definitely open to trying new things.
Yeah. When they did a vegan marketplace booth at, for Food and Wine Festival, I had tried it, but I just couldn't.
Yeah.
I was like, no, it still doesn't taste like chili to me. And the texture's different. And
right.
There were plenty of people who thought it was real chili, because we heard people go, oh, the best beef chili you can get is at that Terrace place back there. And I'm like, oh my gosh, these people have no idea. But we do have plenty of vegetarian and vegan restaurants in Nashville as well. Like, we've got a place called Wild Cow, and I don't know. If I'm going to eat vegetables, I'm going to have, a side of vegetables. I'm going to have, pasta with vegetables on it, or a salad or something like that. I don't want a burger that's supposed to taste like something it's not. That's right. It's just, the whole concept is strange to me, but it'll be interesting to see what they do with Pandora. I haven't even seen the movie.
Oh, shame on you. It's like one of the highest grossing films in the history of all films.
I know.
It's actually a really good storyline. And it's unfortunate you should have watched it in 3D, because that's when the real visual magic happens.
I'm not a big fan of 3D. It's very rare that I go and see it, because I have to be sitting in the right seat.
Okay.
If I'm sitting in the wrong seat, I feel like I'm doing this the whole time, and I leave with a headache.
Oh, okay.
Like, I watched Captain America in 3D, but I ended up with a really bad headache by the time it was over. But they say some people can't really see 3D, and it's difficult for them. Like, I remember right, Johnny Depp can't see 3D.
Interesting. Didn't know that.
Yeah, some people can't because of the whole depth perception thing. But I haven't seen it, but I don't do well sitting through long movies. I have said I will watch it before Pandora is finished, and I check it out once it's completed, but I'm just not thrilled with sitting through a movie that long. Hour and a half is pretty much good for me. So, Disney animation, perfect timing. After 2 hours, Like Pirates just a little too long. I get very antsy. So, but that's really all I have when it comes to discussing like the D23 news when it comes to food.
Okay, so just to recap, did they discuss anything about the Star Wars land as far as any other restaurants? Because I just heard about the Cantina.
The Cantina and then that grill. That's really the only.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's really all they had. But it was a lot of just a few shots of different things that they're working on when it comes to concept
Just concepts,
art.
right?
So,
yeah. Cool.
Oh, one last thing having to do with D23. The Jungle Navigation Company Limited Skipper Cantina. That's another thing it's going to be opening in the Magic Kingdom, which it's been rumored that that's a Jungle Cruise themed restaurant is going in for some time now. It's where they used to have a Loa Isle. Remember I told you they had switched things around?
Right.
At Magic Kingdom and had moved that with another location. And I believe it was to make more room for this Cantina going in.
Is it Canteen or Cantina?
Maybe it's Cantina.
Sorry, I was just reading the thing. It says Canteen, Skipper Canteen.
That would be it.
Okay.
I'm just trying to remember it off the top of my head.
No problem.
Interesting.
Skipper Canteen. That's a unique way of calling the restaurant.
Yeah. But it is supposed to be jungle themed restaurant. They said don't have an exact date of when it's opening. They did say that all the rooms are going to be a different kind of theme to it. So one of them is going to be a crew mess hall. The other one is going to be the meeting room for the Society of Explorers and Adventurers. So that's going to be, I think, unique. One rumor I have also heard is that they're going to be having alcohol. That I haven't seen. There's been no confirmation on, but that's one rumor that had been going along with the addition of this being built. So
there goes the whole debate about, if they're going to do it for high end, what could be high end themed for the Jungle Cruise?
I think what may be the reason it has been rumored that could occur is because of what was the name of that bar? There was a bar in Pleasure Island, and I'm drawing a blank on it, but it was jungle themed, and there were a lot of like antics that went on in the place, and the drink was the Kungaloosh. I don't know why I can't think of the name of the bar, but everybody's kind of has been thinking it's going to be along the lines of that and replace. The Adventurers Club.
Okay.
The Adventurers Club. People are thinking it's going to be along the lines of that. So, of course, Disney is just giving a little bit of information on what that's going to be, but I'm ready for it to open. I'm ready for all these things they talked about to be done. So that's, let's see, I have two other news stories. One of them is that Happy HalloWishes premium dessert package is going to be available at Disney World for Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. In the past, they had Villain Sinister Soiree. They are not bringing that back this year. Instead, they've added this new thing, and it's going to take place the center flagpole area of Town Square, which is right as you enter Magic Kingdom, and you'll have prime viewing area for Mickey's Boo-to-You Halloween Parade. After that, you'll be directed over to Tomorrowland Terrace, which is going to be decked out with all kinds of Halloween decorations, and you'll have a view of the Happy HalloWishes nighttime fireworks from there, as well as tons of Halloween-themed food. Some of them are going to include ghost meringues, candy corn panna cotta, peanut butter chocolate pretzel with witch fingers, spiced pumpkin cheesecake brownies, peanut butter spider whoopie pies. There's going to be some hot chocolate, lemonade, and other Halloween specialties. And you'll receive a skull mug filled with candy to take home as your souvenir. And that is, let's see, $69 for guests 12 and up, and $39 for guests ages 3 to 11.
But that includes the admission to the event, though, the hard ticket event. Though,
No,
right?
that's it in addition to the cost of the event.
Oh, interesting. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
because the event is about the same price. It's 60 something.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Wow, that's a pretty steep price. I don't know.
Well,
I mean,
they
'cause
had the Sinister soiree cost even more than that last year. I think it was 99.
Yeah, well, all you Disney World people have all kinds of money, so it's fine.
I don't know about that.
I'm just kidding.
Most Disney World people only go every now and then, whereas you guys have a park where people are going all the time. So you get cool pass holder events that we don't get. Mickey, for Christmas, they've got a Minnie's Holiday Dine that's going to be taking place at Hollywood and Vine starting November 7th, and it'll run through January 3rd. And you'll meet up with Minnie. She'll be there, hosting the party. And Donald Duck, Daisy Duck, and Santa Goofy will be there as well. And it's going to be just taking place at dinner time. So with all the traditional type of holiday foods, it's going to be, let's see, $46.99 for guests 10 and up, and $27.99 for kids ages 3 to 6 plus tax and gratuity. And you can do the Fantasmic dinner package with this. It's going to cost a little bit more, $52.99, and then $31.99 for kids 3 to 9.
Do you guys?
That's new.
Sorry. Do you have like? I'm trying to think like on the holidays. Let's say Christmas Day and Thanksgiving Day. Do you have a buffet or a brunch, a special brunch over there, like on the day?
Each of the different restaurants can have a special menu. It just depends on each of the locations.
Cool.
So
yeah, they do something at the Disneyland Hotel every year, and so I'm just, I've never been to it because I love Disneyland, but maybe one of these days I'll set aside that day for it. But honestly, I'd rather be with my family than be at Disneyland. So, but from what I heard, it's like super high end, like crab legs and everything. So I'm just like, that sounds good. But of course, it's expensive. And number one, number two, you're basically, spending the day with strangers instead of people you love. So.
And I'm sure it's probably a little bit different vibe out that way than it is at Disney World, where pretty much anybody who's there is going to be from out of town.
True.
People that are like, hey, we're spending 2 weeks here instead of back in jolly old England or something like that. I don't know that I would want to go at Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, because I would imagine the park crowds to be crazy.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's one of the busiest days of the year. Well, January 1st, Halloween Day, any of the special holidays. The only day, I guess a holiday, if you will, that the park isn't too busy is January 1st, yeah, the New Year's Day. Other than that, New Year's Eve, it's busy. It's just New Year's Day, though, it's not.
And seeing New Year's Day is one of the busiest days at Walt Disney World.
Interesting.
New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and like July 4th. Those are like the really busy days. But a lot of people, what they do is they'll be there for Christmas and New Year's rather than like one or the other. They're often people choose to be there for both holidays.
Right.
I just have heard that New Year's Day is worse than July 4th, which I've been there on July 4th and it was crazy busy, but not on New Year's Day. I don't plan on visiting at that time. I really don't want to go to the park when an hour after opening they have to turn guests away because the park's full. That's just too many people for me. Well, that is all I have when it comes to news. So, Jay, are you ready for our main dish, talking about places for guests to load up on their carbs?
Yep. I'm down. Let's do it.
Okay. Do you want to go first?
Sure. Well, I was just going to say, the first option for the people who are wanting to spend some money, like real money, is to go to the Pasta in the Park party. It's on the Disneyland Half Marathon, or the Run Disney website. Let's see. Yeah, the Run Disney. They talk about the Disneyland Half Marathon. Anyways, it's going to be on Saturday, September 5th, and it's from 6 to 7:30. It is expensive though. That's the thing. It's going to be $135 for adults, which this is with the theme park ticket. So
okay.
kind of bear that in mind.
What kind of food are you getting?
Yeah, if you're an AP holder, it's $89 for adults, and then $69 for children. And then if you need a ticket, then it's $135 for adults, and then $115 for kids, and that's ages 3 to 9. But what I found interesting is that they're holding this in the Big Thunder Ranch Jamboree area, which we just talked about, the Big Thunder Ranch barbecue. And so this is in close proximity to the restaurant, but it's in that little backstage area. You're familiar with the Jamboree area, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, it's in that little backstage area, which is pretty cool. Now, I was like, man, that's kind of expensive, right? But here's the thing that I guess is the reason why it's so expensive. Number one, it is an all-you-can-eat buffet with dinner and dessert. There's going to be music and entertainment. There's going to be character appearances throughout the evening. And then, when you get the ticket, then you obviously get admission to the park as well. But what I found particularly interesting is that they're going to have a cash bar there. So I was like, I thought, well, let's see, there's no alcohol, but you're having a cash bar. Okay.
Wow.
So, and for a quote unquote healthy event, right? I mean, a Run Disney marathon. I mean, who's going to get tanked, at a pasta dinner, the night before a run. But apparently they are serving alcohol. So, whatever.
Wow.
But, alternatively, if you don't want to spend that kind of money and you're not inclined to drink some booze inside Disneyland, which that's a special event in it of itself. There's two places. Well, I'll just say one place, and then I don't know if you want to go into your places as well, or should I just name both?
You can name. You can go into whatever you want. So okay. Go for it.
I was just thinking like two options essentially. One is more healthy than the other. The first option I would say is Jolly Holiday Bakery Cafe. If for the people who've had the sandwiches there, the sandwiches are good. The bread is good. It's in fact of all the counter service restaurants around Disneyland, I think that the bread quality here is superior to the others. So it's you're getting good bread, and it's some of their sandwiches are healthier options than some of the other pasta dishes and things like that. And then also if you want to get like another double carb treat or whatever, they always have muffins and cupcakes and other pastries as well. So you can partake of all the carbs you want in one location, and it's all good quality food. Now, if you want to just go straight to the pasta and just like, let's do this, I need to get, the pasta fix on and stuff like that, then the only other option in Disneyland Park for that would be Red Rocket's Pizza Port. And you can get they have the majority of their menu items are pasta related. They do have some pizzas as well. But they have like a fusilli, they have spaghetti and meatballs, penne pasta. So there's some options when it comes to pasta. And as far as the pizza is concerned, they got the main, the pepperoni, of course, and some mixed pizzas as well, and then the cheese pizza for the people who just don't want meat. And then they do have some healthy options as well. They do, from what I've heard, I haven't had this, but from what I heard, the Asian chicken salad is really good. So that's an option. It's a healthier option. There's no carbs, but if you want a little salad with your pizza or with your pasta, then there you go. You got that available there at Red Rocket's Pizza Port. And then in DCA, there's the Boardwalk Pizza and Pasta, of course, and they have a selection there, and that's actually pretty fast. You know, it's okay. I mean, I've had the pizza there, and I think that the quality is better than Red Rocket's Pizza Port. And they also have I don't know. It just seems like the dishes are more appealing there than at Red Rocket's, in my opinion. And they also, I'm not sure if they carry, at one point they had a dessert pizza, and I'm not sure if they're carrying that anymore. I haven't been there for a while, but if they have that available, I definitely recommend getting that. It's actually really good.
Yeah, I didn't even walk in there when I was there last time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's been a while, and you know, since it's kind of off to the side, and you really kind of have to, you know, make it a point to go there. I just, you know, pretty much bypass it as I'm going to the other areas of the park. And then the last one, it's as far as a finer dining option would be the Wine Country Trattoria. So that you know, I've eaten there several times. I've had lunch there, and I've also had dinner there, and it's good. I mean, you know, you know, it's, I would say, it's probably maybe just slightly better than an Olive Garden. You know, Olive Garden's not bad. It's just, you know, it's just kind of like the Denny's of Italian food, you know. So that's my equation to it. So I'm thinking that, you know, Wine Country Trattoria is just kind of like about a step above, and you can also do the World of Color dining package there as well. So I mean, if you're there at the parks and you're going to be running the next day, then, you know, might as well enjoy yourself in the evening and watch World of Color, right? So there you go.
Well, then they can go by the bakery and pick up sourdough rolls.
There you go. Exactly.
So you do that for lunch. So then you have like either soup or the salad in the bowl. And then for dinner, you do pasta somewhere, and then you'll be like super carved up.
True. Very true.
Let's see. Your next race that you guys have is that first. Actually, that's what, 2 weeks from now?
Right. Oh, yeah. It's actually next weekend, not this weekend. It's the first weekend in September. So whenever this podcast comes out or whatever, it's probably going to be the week following.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty soon here. September 3rd through September. Let's see, September 3rd through the 5th, I think. Yeah. No. Yeah, 6th. September 3rd through the 6th. There you go.
Yeah, and see, the next one in Disney World is going to be the Wine and Dine Half Marathon, and that's the first weekend of November, so the 6th and the 7th. And see, for that one, they don't do the pasta party. They do it for the Walt Disney World Marathon weekend. That's at the beginning of January. They do that same pasta event. And then for the Princess Half, they do the pasta. And it's over at Epcot. So see, then they don't have to worry about the whole alcohol thing. But the buffet takes place from 7 to 8:30. You've got a 9 o'clock then showing of illuminations. And they'll allow you in early. You can get into Epcot at 6 o'clock before doing the buffet. Okay. And again, it's got entertainment music, the meet and greet from the characters. So it's very similar to, you know, if you're looking for pasta, to the same thing you guys do over there. But other than that, let's see. See, I've got a lot of places to think of. You have in Magic Kingdom, there's Tony's Town Square, which is probably the one place I wouldn't recommend if you're looking for pasta, because there's so many other restaurants that have better Italian food. Like over at Epcot, there is Via Napoli and Tutto Italia, and both of those have excellent pasta dishes, pizza, different things like that you could do. Over at Hollywood Studios, there's Mama Melrose, and that's probably the second from the bottom, in my opinion, when it comes to Italian restaurants. Better than Tony's, but not as good as the other locations. Like one of my favorites is Trattoria al Forno, which opened up in Disney's Boardwalk last December. So they have really, really good food. Pasta's perfectly cooked. A friend of mine who is Italian, actually, Tony Castanova, he grew up with his parents running Italian restaurants up in New Jersey. And so he knows good Italian food. And Tony is like us. He's a big foodie.
Yeah.
And that's one of his places that he's been to numerous times since that opened, as well as Ravello's, and that's in Four Seasons, Orlando, which is still on Disney property. It's not run and operated by Disney. It's in Golden Oaks, which is not too far from Magic Kingdom. But that area, you have to show a driver's license and that kind of stuff. They need to know where you're going because there's private residences in there. But that place is phenomenal. The guy who is the chef there is from Italy. And the dishes are dishes that have been in his family for a long, long time. So he even has his own house-made limoncello.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my gosh, it's the best limoncello ever. It's even better than the limoncello I had when I was in Italy, which was house-made. This is slightly, the crema is slightly better, I would say. It's just really, it's really worth getting. Where else would I go? There's an Italian restaurant also in Swan and Dolphin. It's on the Swan side. It's called Il Molino. And I know there's more of them, and like Nashville has one that it opened up earlier this year. I don't know if you guys have any of them there, but there's another one, I believe, in New York. But they have good Italian food.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think there's many of them, but it's pretty good Italian food. It's more upscale than, your run-of-the-mill restaurant in a theme park. Same with the Al Forno over at Boardwalk. It's the same kind of way. But my recommendation would be to do some kind of dish for lunch, that has you do a sandwich that has a lot of bread. Like over at Hollywood Studios, they have a focaccia is what the sandwich is served on. So you've got, I guess, maybe 1.5 inches of bread on top, and then maybe about 1/2 inch to 1 inch of bread on the bottom, filled with tons of meat and cheese. So you're getting your protein with a lot of carbs, because it's a good size sandwich. And then for dinner, doing something like a pasta that you can really load up on. And buffets are also good, but it's not going to be as good as the pasta you're going to find at a sit-down restaurant where they're bringing it to you. Because I think you end up with pasta that's been sitting out for a little bit. And I don't think people go through pasta as fast at a buffet as they do like meats and vegetables, things like that. Because normally it's the kids that only want to eat the pasta.
Right.
So that's my recommendation, or some of those places, to get a lot of carbs, do a big sandwich at lunch, so you've got some protein, and then of course at dinner, do a big thing of pasta. Oh, and Ravello, one of the nice things about that place, they have several kinds of pasta, and they have a full order and a half portion. And so
that's good.
When Aljon and I went, we actually did one of the entrees and did 3 half portions of pasta. So that way you had, a good variety. Oh, risotto is also another thing to do as well. To get your carbs.
I love risotto. I actually prefer risotto over pasta personally, but it has to be risotto cooked the right way, though.
Mine always depends on my mood, whether I want pasta or risotto. I like both of them though. Gnocchi's also good.
That's true. I do like gnocchi, but my mother is Korean, so I grew up with rice, and I always ate rice as a kid, and I just has always been a staple in my life. And so when I eat pasta, it's like, oh, it's good, and it's a nice change of pace. I like spaghetti and all that stuff. I'm not against pasta. It's just that if I had a choice between risotto or pasta, I'd go for risotto personally. So
yeah, I would imagine Aljon grew up, of course, being Filipino, having rice at every meal. And I grew up, my parents made Uncle Ben's, so that's what I grew up eating. And I had, when I lived on my own, it's just me. and I'm getting home from work at like 10, 11 o'clock at night. And so therefore I am not wanting to make like a big meal or take a long time to cook. So I had instant rice. And the first time I made a rice dish, he was like, I'm not eating that. It's like, why? He's like, that's not rice. It's like, yes, it is. He's like, it tastes funny. I'm not going to eat that. It's the only time in 14 years that he has not wanted something that I made. He was like, it's a weird texture. I don't like it. And that was the last time I ever bought instant rice.
Oh, yeah.
Since then, I take the, 15 minutes it takes to make rice on the stove or in a cooker. But so I completely get the whole, the rice thing. Whereas like both sides of my family being German, my grandparents always had bread.
Right.
So you always have to have bread with the meal. So I think it's the same kind of thing, I think every culture has its own little carb item that they have with their meal, and it's like a staple with every meal. To my grandfather, it was not a meal if it did not have a roll. Has to have a roll, has to have bread. So, well, that's all I can think of really when it comes to places to carb up.
I actually have one additional one because I just totally skipped my mind because I was just thinking in the parks only. But in downtown Disney, they also have the Napolini Ristorante, and what's the little one on the side there?
That's Napolini.
That's Napolini. The
big one is Naples.
Naples, there you go. Naples Ristorante, and then the Cafe Napolini. And both of those offer pizza and pasta as well. I must admit, and I'm ashamed to say this, but I have never eaten at either of those places. I don't know what it is. When I choose to eat there, I just have never been in the mood for Italian food, so that's the reason why I haven't tried it, and it's shame on me. But one of these days, I'll eat there for sure.
Try the pizza.
Okay.
It's very authentic to what you get in Italy. There's like what most people they're like, oh, I'm Italian, and in New Jersey this is Italian pizza, or in New York this is Italian pizza, or Chicago they say they have real Italian pizza. No, Italy has real Italian pizza, and it's the kind that you can fold in half. It's a really thin crust. You fold in half, and you can walk down the street eating it. Toppings aren't going to fall off or anything like that. So definitely you have to try the pizza there, because that restaurant is also, because it's Cantina Group, they also run the two in Epcot, Via Napoli, as well as Tutto Italia are run by the same company.
Oh, okay.
And I had the pizza at Via Napoli, and then I think it was 6 months later, I was in California and had it at Naples, and I was like, this is exactly the same.
Okay.
Technically the same food. So
it's
good.
Worth
trying. Yeah, right when you said you thought of something, I knew exactly what you were going to say, because it crossed my mind when I was talking about Epcot, where to eat. Okay, so you have a listener question, right, for our dessert section.
Yeah, it's basic Disneyland food tip. It's sort of a follow-up from our last episode. Last time I had mentioned about gluten-free items at the restaurants and where to find it, and some online resources as well. And so Nicole had sent me an email, and she had asked, do any of your podcasts cover vegan dining options at the Disneyland Resort? And I responded back. I basically told her that we haven't done an episode with that type of information, but there are a few ways to check places that offer vegan choices. As we discussed with the gluten allergies, one of the ways you can check is to go to City Hall at Disneyland or the Chamber of Commerce at DCA, and you can ask them for a list there. Another one that you can check as well, there's a blog called vegancowgirl.com, and you can search Disneyland on her blog, and she covers quite extensively all the restaurants at Disneyland. It's a really good article. And then, of course, the third option to investigate as well is our own website, the diningatdisney.com website, and we have that under the special diet section, which is labeled vegetarian and vegan dining. So that's something definitely you can look at as well.
We should talk about vegetarian and vegan dining. That should be the main topic for the next show.
Sure. There you go.
Yeah, because I know it gets to be difficult and overwhelming for people because, it's some restaurants have great menus for it and some don't. And I have a friend of mine is most of the time she eats vegetarian. Every now and then she'll have a little bit of seafood. But most of the time, vegetarian. And I was at Disney with her, I guess it was a year and a half ago. And we tried to find restaurants that she would really enjoy rather than doing ones where she's kind of stuck eating seafood when she doesn't really want to. So figured that we can discuss that and I can at least give it some tips from, traveling with somebody who has those special diets.
It's a great idea. I'm down.
And I think, do you have anything else? I think we're pretty much done.
I didn't know if you had any food tips for Disney World or not. So
I'm just piggybacking on your one about
there you go.
The vegetarian, vegan, that kind of dining, because there's a lot of information out there and great information from people who are vegetarian or are vegan. And they're great resources to use to ask them where to dine. And I need to work a little bit more on what we have on the site to help people with that. It's just, again, it takes a while to try and pull that kind of information together. And like I said, I have friends that are vegetarian and vegan. And so
by the way,
I know it can be difficult.
As sort of a bonus tip and supplemental to my Big Thunder Ranch barbecue dining review, one thing that you can get is their vegetable skewer. Or it's a vegetarian option, but you don't have to be vegetarian. You just ask and request for that really skewer, good. And they'll give it to you. So that's cool. I didn't know that.
Have you done it?
No, I didn't, but I saw someone do it the last time I was there, when I dined there back in July. So I was so enthralled with the meat. I was like, I just wanted to eat up all the barbecue ribs and chicken. I don't want to, feel, why waste all this valuable real estate in my stomach with grilled vegetables when I can have meat?
Now, see, we ordered it.
Okay.
And it comes out and it's cooked perfectly, because sometimes vegetables, they either come out cold or they're overcooked. These were cooked just right. They were still crisp, hot. They had a little bit of a Cajun seasoning on it. It had roasted potatoes, zucchini, onion, red bell pepper, tofu. You can ask them to leave tofu off if you don't like it, and they'll add extra vegetables to it. Cool. But the zucchini was like one of my favorite things. It was just really good. I didn't bother with the potatoes. I'm not a big potato person. I'm like, I'll eat the other vegetables to try. Because I figure you got to try everything, right? So if they'll bring it to you, and we got like 2 skewers. That way some of us could try it. And those who were like, I really don't want my veggies, I just want my meat, they were happy with the meat. So, yeah, but I did try it. It's pretty good.
Cool.
So,
all right.
I think that's all we have for today. Let's see. Jay, tell everybody where they can find you.
Oh, you can find me at magicalfoodtour.com, on Twitter at magicalfoodtour. In fact, all the social media outlets, you can find me at Magical Food Tour, Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, all that good stuff. Don't have Periscope yet, but who knows, one of these days. And then I can also be found at the DizGeek.com. Well, not on the DizGeek.com website, but the DizGeek podcast, which is at DizGeek.com.
You can find Dining at Disney at diningatdisney.com. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and Periscope. It's Dining at Disney on those. However, on YouTube, it's The Dining at Disney. And we would like to thank you for downloading and subscribing to our show on iTunes, streaming on Stitcher, and for those of you who are watching it on YouTube, watching it there as well. Be sure to like and subscribe to all of our feeds. And don't forget, we love it when you share our stuff with your friends. And those of you who want to support us, you can do so by shopping our affiliate links, which include Garden Grocers, Disney Store, Jelly Belly, and picking up the diningatdisney.com guides. And if it's not out when you download this, if you're listening to it via iTunes or Stitcher, it'll probably be tomorrow because it's pretty much done. I'm telling you, the one thing is that going out to California and doing D23 put me so far behind on getting that book done. But it's almost there. And we are part of the Weeby Geeks Network, so make sure you check out weebygeeks.net and give us 5-star reviews and ratings when you're subscribing and downloading it on iTunes, because Jay and I like that.
Yes, please.
Thanks for listening. Until next time, I'm Kristen. With me is Jay, and bon appetit.